There's a certain kind of silence that comes right before your phone buzzes with another headline, another war, another crisis, just another thing to worry about while you were trying to decide what to eat for dinner. And then you might like it to make sure that your friends are aware that you're well informed about the latest political topic. And then somehow you're watching a reel or a TikTok of someone doing a World War III draft haul that gets recommended on your For You page.
Outfit to get drafted for World War III. From Final Home, this is their iconic gun.
Or a fan cam of a world leader set to hyperpop.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin.
They all love you.
Because in 2025, even the news of a global conflict comes with a trending audio. War has become a meme. But how did we get here? Is it just the internet being the internet? Or is this how we cope now? By laughing at things that terrify us the most? We're not the first generation to live through global fear, but we might be the first to make it into TikToks or endless Instagram meme dumps. So today we're going to unpack the memification of the global conflict, why we're joking about the end of the world, and whether that's actually helping or just making everything feel even more surreal. Before it became a protest tool or a form of passive-aggressive government messaging, the word meme was coined by none other than evolutionary biologist Richard Dawkins, allegedly. In his 1976 book The Selfish Gene, he described a meme as the simplest way to put an idea in someone's head, like a gene but for culture. Infectious, replicable, and very sticky. Fast forward to the internet era and memes became jokes. Weird little images with captions, inside jokes for niche corners of the web, cats, rage comics, a frog that made everyone inexplicably emotional, a smiling old man that seemed in pain and conquered everybody's hearts. But over the past 2 decades, memes have evolved into something much more powerful and sometimes much more unsettling. Now memes exist on a spectrum. Let me put my meme expert glasses on. On one hand of the current meme spectrum, we have pure brain rot.
Bombardier, crocodile. A freaking flying alligator that flies and bombs children in Gaza and Palestine, doesn't believe in Allah and loves bombs.
These are TikToks that make absolutely no sense, on purpose.
Oh nein. Horizontal rotierender Fisch.
They are absurd, chaotic, sometimes borderline incomprehensible. But as one researcher put it, they offer an oasis of calm amid the media chaos. A way to check out, scroll endlessly, and quiet the part of your brain screaming, "Everything is terrible." Think of it as an anti-coping mechanism that somehow works. On the other hand of the spectrum, we have hopcore. This is the gentler cousin of doom posting. Pastel posts reminding you to drink water, videos of strangers being kind, memes that try to reinject meaning and optimism into a landscape saturated with cynicism. A digital whisper that says, "Hey, it's bad, but maybe not all that bad." And somewhere in the middle, or maybe beyond the spectrum, there are memes created by governments, brands, and institutions. I'm sure you've seen them, the cringe TikToks from official accounts, the cutesy posts dropped in the middle of humanitarian crisis. They want to be relatable, they want to be part of the discourse. But sometimes they're just embarrassing and even dangerous. Because when state actors use memes to sway public opinion, or when corporations meme through disaster to protect their image, we enter a space where propaganda wears a quirky little hat and does a little TikTok dance. As highlighted in the article called "The Memification of the Ukraine War," from cringe to dangerous, the memification of international relations can contribute to diplomatic disasters. And when diplomacy turns into discourse and then discourse turns into memes, the line between entertainment and manipulation gets very, very blurry. But let's take a step back. Not all memes are made for manipulation or virality. Sometimes they're just how we survive. Psychologists call it cognitive reappraisal. It's just a fancy term for the very human tendency to take something terrifying and make it funny. To soften the blow, kind of. To laugh so we don't spiral. Clinical psychologist Carla Manley explains that by adding humor to heavy events, memes can downplay the severity of crisis. So it's an attempt not to make light of them, but to make them livable and to offer relief when everything feels unrelenting. Media psychologist Pamela Rutledge adds that memes can provide a kind of psychological comfort, especially when the news cycle feels like a never-ending parade of worst-case scenarios. And as digital culture scholar Jamie Cohen puts it, we're posting through it, so to speak. In this way, memes are a kind of group therapy, a coping mechanism for the chronically online. And they don't serve only for individual catharsis, they're about connection. When we laugh at the same weird joke about World War III or climate collapse, we're not just laughing, we're connecting with a community of people. We're sharing the emotional weight of it all, even if we're doing it through shitposts or irony-poisoned captions. And this can be especially crucial for teens, Gen Z and Gen Alpha. A recent study on so-called brain rot content on TikTok found that these surreal, mind-numbing videos aren't just silly, they're a strategy, a way for young people to manage the uniquely specific anxiety of growing up in this moment in history, where the planet is burning, the news never stops, and adulthood feels like a scam. And of course, none of this is exactly new. Throughout history, people have used humor, satire, and absurdity to cope with crisis. From political cartoons to wartime jokes, laughter has always been a form of resistance and a form of relief. As the author of a Substack article, A History of Laughs, puts it, memes are crisis art, like all art. The difference now is that the stage is digital, the audience is global, and the scroll never ends. So the question becomes, is this how we heal, or is this how we dissociate? So we've established that memes can be a coping mechanism, but they are also weapons. Welcome to memetic warfare, where front lines are Twitter threads, TikTok slides, or viral infographics, where the goal isn't necessarily the truth, it's the dominance of the narrative, and the side that has the best memes wins. As one Substack writer put it bluntly, memes are a form of propaganda, advertising, and mass manipulation. Many who create or share them don't know the power they hold. And we've been watching it play in real time with conflicts like Russia-Ukraine and Israel-Palestine. The battleground isn't just the land anymore, it's the algorithm. Every post, every hashtag becomes a miniature weapon in the fight for hearts, likes, and reposts. The editors at Modern Diplomacy note that meme warfare doesn't exist in a vacuum. Whether one narrative goes viral and the other vanishes depends not on justice, but on the aesthetics, proximity, platform rules, and the billionaires behind them. Take Kashmir, for example. Internet shutdowns and account bans effectively silenced online activism. There are no memes, no trending hashtags. I bet you didn't see any of your friends on Instagram report about the conflict. In contrast, the Israel-Palestine conflict flooded the digital space with pro-Palestinian voices gaining massive support, and then facing shadow bans, algorithmic suspension, and platform censorship in response. In these cases, memes aren't just frivolous, they are not coping mechanisms, they are very strategic. They bypass traditional media and they manipulate attention. And most importantly, they shape the public opinion in ways that are very hard to undo. Just think about your grandma that claims to know everything about Putin's intentions after watching an expert video on Facebook. She's not going to change your mind. As much as you argue with her, I'm sorry. And you might ask, why does your grandma keep reposting and liking all those propaganda videos? Well, here's the uncomfortable part. Memes also give us a sense of participation, without the burden of understanding. We repost, we react, we pick sides based on 15-second clips. The side that wins the meme war can dominate the public perception. And of course, politicians have clocked it. Just remember the awkward memes from state departments. Israel, I'm looking at you.
Stupid.
The weird brand posts during international tragedies. There's always a digital meme campaign for everything. Some even wonder whether we're escalating conflicts for clout, for engagement metrics, for virality. So at their best, memes can be rallying cries. At their worst, they can be tools of manipulation by governments, brands, institutions, billionaires, and many other people. They flatten complex realities into shareable posts. War becomes content, suffering becomes aesthetic, and the algorithm keeps scrolling.
Hey there. You look confused.
Let's set a scene. It's Thursday night, you're having one of your doom scrolling sessions, and here it is. One of your friends reposted a video of a child suffering in Gaza. Oh, and here's another friend reposting the same video. You think to yourself, am I a bad person if I don't repost it as well? What happens when you post something about a war you don't fully understand? Are you spreading awareness or just performing care? You might encounter a lot of people on the internet that claim that those whose activism mostly consists of reposting outrage content are just performing care. It's harsh, but also fair. Because online, nothing exists in isolation. Every post is public, every reaction is watched. We're not just expressing ourselves, we're also curating our image. And that's where Michel Foucault comes in. Should I put on my smart glasses again? In Discipline and Punish, he warns, visibility is a trap. In other words, on the internet, we're all performing under surveillance, not by Big Brother, but by each other. Social media becomes a kind of digital confessional booth. We post our sadness, our rage, our solidarity, not just to express ourselves, but to be seen doing it. To be seen as good, as informed, as on the right side of history. As this Ion essay puts it, the digital crowd has come to fill in for the authority of the confessor. It acts as a substitute for Socrates' inner voice of moral conscience. So instead of asking ourselves what we believe, what we feel, we ask, what is the right thing to post right now? What will bring me the highest amount of likes and a feeling of satisfaction? Because if activism becomes performance and morality becomes just a game of likes, then solidarity risks becoming an aesthetic, a fleeting gesture, a curated brand of empathy. As another Ion piece puts it, radical individualism facilitates a convenient forgetting of the ligaments that bind us to others. We think we're participating in the public discourse, but in reality, we're just reposting the same posts in echo chambers. In our own little bubbles of like-minded followers, there's no discourse, there's no dialogue. Aristotle once wrote that humans are political animals, that to engage in a meaningful life, we must participate in the public realm. But when the public realm becomes a For You page, the act of care becomes just a performative caption. Foucault might say that this is power in its most subtle form, not coercion, but subtle pressure, a network of relations that induces acquiescence, not through violence, but through likes. So we're left with this deeply uncomfortable question when we're posting memes about wars and conflicts. Are we confronting reality, or are we just performing the appearance of care and then moving on? Because we can't just convey a message through a meme, since memes can be very hollow. So where does this leave us? Memes are powerful. They can be so funny and comforting, and they create solidarity even if it's fleeting, but they can also do harm. They can distort, they can desensitize, they can turn real human lives into passing trends in our endless doom scroll. Like all art born from crisis, memes are mirrors, but unlike traditional art, they have such properties as speed, virality, and sometimes minimal depth. They rise and fall with trends and not with the resolution of the conflicts that are being reposted about. And that's the paradox, because memes do give us a sense of control in the hopeless times, but do they actually help us understand what's going on and engage meaningfully? Do they truly lead us towards action? Or are we, as Foucault might argue, stuck in an infinite feedback loop, where the performance of care replaces the labor of it, where the aesthetics of politics replaces the actual politics? So maybe the real question is how to share memes with more intention. How do we know that we've crossed the line from copying into complicity? And how do we use these tools without letting them use us? We owe it to ourselves to ask who is in on the joke and who is paying the price. And that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with everything I said, or do you have opposing opinions? It's definitely a controversial topic and there's a lot of discussion, and truth is born through discussion. So I would really appreciate your thoughts. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Bye!